The cackle of forced induction alcohol-injected horsepower hits the Lomond Lions. With a two-way battle between the North and the South, the Cut Boggers must do their heaviest lifting in the Hoosier State. It is going to be a very competitive final run here for the 2025 Open Cut Tire Championship on the 2025 MRA Championship Series. It's a two-way battle for the top spot as we roll into Wagler Motorsports Park in Lyons, Indiana. And the battle is between the gentleman out of Pennsylvania, the multi-generation High Roller Team, High Roller 4, and Travis Shoemaker, who came to us a couple years ago into this class out of the modified division, switched from the nitrous-injected power plant to a screw-blown power plant, but he's battling with number one, the guy who was the 2022 and 2023 Open Cuts champion. That was Kevin Harrison, and never enough. He lost that title to Billy Fling in Reality Check last year, who's not in contention for the championship this year after missing a race, but he comes in with every intention to play spoiler and gear up for the 2026 season. Here is a look at the points coming into this final round. Kevin Harrison, you see, leading the charge with 375 points, but Travis Shoemaker, as I said, has a shot. He's got to be perfect here tonight and hope that maybe Harrison falls out of the top spot a little bit. Then you see Tyler Coolidge, Jim Ingram, and Billy Fling sitting in the number 5 position. Ingram, who's sitting number 4, is not here tonight, so he will not be able to defend that number 4 position. He'll have to wait and see where he ends up at year's end. But right now, our first two coming to the line. There you see the guy we talked about off the top, Travis Shoemaker, as I said, out of Germansville, Pennsylvania, with the 521 cubic inch screw-blown Hemi. Again, moved up from the modified class. He was the 2017 and 2018 modified cuts champion and the 2018 modified paddle class champion. We'll see the paddles on these open class machines tomorrow, and he lines up next to another champion in this series, the 2016 Open Cuts champion. That is Scott Snarsky out of Libertyville, Illinois, in Paperboy Express. One of the scariest machines in the class, super loud. Watch stage with that 540 cubic inch Boss Ford power plant with a 1-speed transmission and a 3-disc slipper clutch. A 980R Whipple supercharger up on top with just a spritz of nitrous to cool that forced air. Shoemaker having to drive it around a little bit at the end as he came over to the left-hand side, but he runs a 2:33. Of course, Snarsky with problems of 5.7, not going to get him in the hunt. Hopefully no problems on that machine that he can't fix and get back in the action. But look at Shoemaker get a hold of the track, blew the tires off just a little bit. I don't know that this is going to be a record track on the cut tires. We did see a record set in the modified division on the paddle tires, so it may be possible when these guys switch over to the scoopers tomorrow that they can get a hold of this track a little better. But you could see Shoemaker was skating around on top of that loam, came around to the left-hand side, but he got a hold of it again, puts a 2.33 second elapsed time on the board to start the class. Up next, the one and only, nobody else like him, Ned Brandenburg out of Elmira, Michigan, in Eaton Ramen with a 526 cubic inch 481X power plant that is chugging smoke out of the left-hand side. A lot of smoke filling the air down here. The power plant in that machine actually used to belong to this guy, Steve Renaud, out of Hornpayne, Ontario, with a 526 cubic inch Noonan Racing power plant in the back of Frantic. The 2017, 18, and 19 Open Cuts champion. And out here with crew chief Gary Baker. Always good to see Gary out alongside. We'll see what Ned Brandenburg can do with this power plant, though, as he is a lot more smoke coming out of that thing as he comes down through the traps. Renaud did not go anywhere A 301 for Brandenburg with engine problems. I'm not sure what happened to Renaud's. Problems for both of those vehicles on this run. Renaud may get a shot to back up and go to the line again as he is refired, but something clearly going wrong with Frantic off the starting line. It looks like he is going to restage. Since he did not come off the line, he did not technically break the beam. It does not count as a run. He can back up and try again and get back in those beams. See what he can run. Still leading the charge, Travis Shoemaker with the, well, take it back. Cut the power, it goes quiet. We're going to get Renaud backed off the line. We'll get our next pairing up. Stay with us, more to come with the Open Cuts class from Lyons, Indiana. The MRA Championship Series is brought to you by Speed Tech, Speed Wire Systems, Alki Digger, and George Grading and Hauling.
Hey, welcome to Wildman Adventures. We're at the Silver Lake Sand Dragway. There really wasn't any off-roading back then. It was all off-road. We're on our way to Lima, Ohio. Got wooden wheels.
Oh, it's slippery as all get out of.
Hey, we're here with Rich Cummins. Hey, we're here with Mike Potter. Hey, we're here with Alan Pizzo. Gotta check it out. This week we're going to go down memory lane.
Coming back at you from Lyons, Indiana. Frantic is still on the line. The word we get is Steve Renaud is going to take a shot at the clocks right now to try to unseat Travis Shoemaker, who's sitting up on top of this thing with a 233. Again, the 526 cubic inch Noonan power plant in the back of this machine used to have that 481X that we saw in Ned Brandenburg's machine that was just smoking going down the track. What that is actually a billet aluminum version of the engine that's in this machine now, but they needed to step up to this Hemi power plant to really generate the power that they need to try to get to the #1 spot. They were tearing up too many parts. Let's see what Renaud has here. Not going to be his night, at least not in the right lane. He'll have a shot to come back over to the left side and try it again, but a 273. Not bad considering the problems he had, but it is not going to be a good night for Steve Renaud as we take a look down there at our camera crew. I believe that was Steve Fling standing behind our cameraman, Owen Sargent. Out comes Greg Monsmith from right here in the Hoosier State of Sullivan, Indiana, with a 520 cubic inch Brad Anderson Hemi with an 1871 Roots blower up on top, and he lines up next to the gentleman sitting in the #3 spot in points, Tyler Coolidge out of Two Harbors, Minnesota. Multi-generation team here. His father on the line in the gray shirt, about to spray some de-icer on those butterflies, make sure that they open and close properly after that injector gets all frosted up. That injector hat will get very, very frosty very, very quick on those big blower motors. That 500 cubic inch Alan Johnson performance engine with the 1471 Whipple supercharger. On top, we will see. Can he move up on Travis Shoemaker? He's got an outside shot. Monsmith moving way to the inside of the lane, and a problem for Coolidge. He doesn't even get down the track. A 243 for Monsmith, so he's 1/10 off the current pace. Coolidge not going to get a time. He did come off the line, but it looks like something went away in that engine. We'll see if he can get that repaired and come back. But look at Monsmith again skating around in the lane. He went way toward the cones. Comes off sort of left of center, and it looks like he may have caught a hole there. There's a little bit of a rut from the grooming tractor going over. We do not have a ripper here tonight, so they're disking and trying to get down as far as they can. But there's a hard bottom on this track, and it is giving these guys fits. As our next pair comes to the line, here is the gentleman who is the defending champ coming in. He doesn't have a shot to defend at this point, but he is going to play spoiler tonight. That is Billy Fling in reality check out of the Buckeye State. with the 581 cubic inch Hemi power plant with a Brasket Race Cars chassis, and he lines up next to the guy he took the championship away from 1 year ago, the 22 and 23 Open Cuts class champion. That is Kevin Harrison, and Never Enough out of Grenada, Mississippi, with a 527 cubic inch Noonan Racing power plant. It's Aussie horsepower behind the driver, a chassis built by Eric Bidlack out of the state of Ohio. So Ohio well represented in this round of competition here. Of course, both of these guys have also won multiple championships in the paddle tire division of the Open class. So we'll see how they do here against each other. Good friends off the track, but mortal enemies once the helmet goes on. Both of them finishing to the right of their lane. We're going to wait and find out if Harrison clipped any of the timing equipment down there. He got very, very close to the cones. 225 for Harrison and 228 for Fling, so they both better Shoemaker's time. Harrison will move to the #1 spot, and that means Shoemaker is in a do-or-die situation when he comes back for his second pass. But you can see Fling was on a run too, even though he did not get past Harrison. A 228 may move him up the board on Jim Ingram before the night is over as he tries to accumulate a few more points and move further into that top 5. Again, really trying to play spoiler tonight, but look at Harrison taking chances over there. Almost got out of the lane, but he managed to keep it in that nice, rich, dark dirt on top of this hard-pulling track. Kevin Harrison, a 2.2, and you need a 2.25, I believe, and the track seems a little hard at the bottom.
Yes, sir. It's good, real good on top. It's got a hard pan in it, and I had to run in the rut because I was the 4th pair in, so I had a little bit too hot on the line. It spun, but once it got out there about 60 foot, it grabbed and made a good pass from there on. But at least I made it 200 foot this time, not like last race.
Now you're going to be on this other side. This other side's been giving guys fits in this shutdown area. I don't know if you've been watching it tonight, but this other side seems like it's the squirrely lane.
We'll be on a fresh groom, so we should be good.
Okay, well, we're going to wish you luck. I see you guys are working.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Tense night in this class as he tries to stay away from Travis Shoemaker. He's doing himself a big favor right now. All the way out of Kindersley, Saskatchewan. Owns one of the nicest dirt drag tracks in the country of Canada, actually on the continent of North America. This is Shane Nygum with a 521 cubic inch screw-blown Brad Anderson Hemi, capable of nearly 4,000 horsepower. Now, we're going to catch up real quick for just a moment with Billy Fling after the run he just made. Billy Fling sitting in second right now. Everybody else is saying that track is a hard pan bottom.
Yeah, it was a little tricky, but we got down it. Kevin got me by a little bit there, but we'll go back around and see what we can do.
Just throwing a little more out of the air is real cool tonight. Is it
probably actually put a little bit more fuel in it?
A little more fuel in it. How is the air here? I feel a little humidity, but it's not like it has been the last few races.
No, it's down. We're corrected altitude. We're down over 2,000 feet of what we did the last time.
And we're in the mid 60s right now, and the temperature.
Yeah, mid 60s with the air about 1,800.
You can definitely see the crankcase pressure on the starting line, which is a good sign.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll let you get back to where I saw you were checking plugs and everything. Is everything running all right now?
Seems to be.
Little sachet there, as Keith Mitchell would put it. A 255, not bad for driving out a disaster, but Shane Nygum trying to get a tune on this machine. Does not normally run in the cut tire division, but he is out here to try to defeat all of these guys on the paddle tires tomorrow night, but he does get a feel for the track as it is right now. He took a chance right there. These guys are struggling a little bit to find this thing, but really did not seem to get a hold of the track right there, and he was moving around in those ruts, and there are very visible ruts. If we can see him from up here in this tower, you know those guys can see him when they're looking down the track. You can really see him when they go out the end where they are disking and the tractor tires are getting into it a little bit, but the Lions crew here at Wagler Motorsports Park really putting in their best effort to make this a prime track for tonight's action. Now you see Kevin Harrison leading the charge over Billy Fling. Travis Shoemaker, though, hanging in there in third. He's going to have to move up to try to get a hold of Kevin Harrison to get that points lead before the end of the year. Of course, you saw Monsmith and Nygam rounding out the top 5. Stay with us. More to come from Lions, Indiana.
Famous C60 Cyclops, the infamous Dodge Carryall, unnamed and untamed. Get yourself a one-of-a-kind toy of a mudbogger turned monster truck at freedomracingmt.com.
Back at Wagler Motorsports Park in Lyons, Indiana, Shane Nygam will not come back for a second pass after his run in Session 1. He was just trying to get a tune for the paddle tire class tomorrow. We're going to the line right now with the man leading the charge against the guy who took his championship away from him last year. You see Billy Fling rolling back in reality check, and across the track from him, that is Kevin Harrison in Never Enough. Pair of big Hemi power plants, 581 cubic inch Hemi in the front of Billy Fling there. In reality check, a guy who has taken more than his fair share of wild rides over the years, but we will not talk about that. He lines up next to Kevin Harrison, who is a record breaker in this sport. Both of these guys are capable of breaking records. I don't think it's going to happen on tonight's track, but this right here could be a defining run for Kevin Harrison to try to hold on to that number 1 spot. And he will... Oh, Fling is in trouble. Hold on, Billy, over the wall. And he does tag a light pole over there. EMS headed that way immediately. The crew running down. Go to the back of the vehicle and shut the power off. We do see Fling moving very gingerly inside the cockpit. I know he had to have gotten his bell rung. That was a couple hard hits in a row. He is moving, though. They're talking to him. Billy Fling going for maybe one of the scariest rides we've seen in some time on this tour in this class. I hope I didn't just jinx him saying what I said, but boy, did he get in trouble in a hurry. It seemed like he was going straight as an arrow, and then the vehicle just took a right, not even a right-hand turn. It just drifted that way, but it drifted that way quick. And you could see him impact the wall, that big shower of concrete over there. We're going to get a couple angles on it. See what happened. Blew the tires off up the line a little bit right there. It looks like the front end just pitched to the right. I don't know if he I don't think he broke an axle. It was not a hard enough turn to indicate a broken axle. Then he gets on top of this short wall here, up on the side. It is incredible that that thing came back down. He did get on the power, but the rear wheels were off the ground. The four-wheel drive might have helped him out there, and then he got over and tagged that big donut and just bumped up against that light tower that you see right there in front of him. And he's climbing out. It's good to see him climbing out of that machine, not being carried out of it, because when the hits that he was taking, it's hard to see on the replay there, but his head was getting rocked around inside that cage. Even with a containment seat, you know, the helmet and the containment seat are only going to do so much. The vehicles only have really enough suspension to keep them on the track. They're not meant to be jumping walls like that. As Fling is out, he's got his hat on, and he's talking to Wayne Bonnecker right there. You see Kevin and Will Harrison standing there with him, and well, he got a time, a 2:58. He not jumped, or excuse me, a 2:50. Take that back. I misread that. And a 2:61 for Harrison. Harrison not gonna back up his own time there, so he'll have to hope that Shoemaker does not get around the first session time. We're gonna get another look though from a different angle. This is off the side that Kyle Hyland, one of the crew members from one of the other teams, was standing, and right there, you can see the machine just kind of rocks to the left and the front end comes over to the right, and you see why there is nobody, and I mean nobody, standing on the other side of that wall. A little bit of equipment over there to keep these guys from getting over into any of the rollaway pit area, anything like that that's down. There's also a motocross track. Here's some bystanders, anybody that would be off in that field, as we look at a couple angles from on board Kevin Harrison's machine, and you can see he had his own share of problems. Was on a straight pass for the most part, but not the run that he's going to need to try to stay on top of this thing. And a very harrowing moment there for Billy Fling, who is okay, but wow. Again, I don't know what went wrong there. I don't know if he caught maybe the wheelie bar caught a rut, maybe he hit a soft spot in the track, but it looks like it just dipped to the left and the front end came around to the right, but he's going to walk over to the ambulance under his own power, thank God. They're going to check him out and hopefully turn him loose, but Billy may want to reconsider showing up for the championship race, these MRA events. 2 years in a row. This was last year's final round. Billy Fling seems to have an affinity for taking right-hand turns. This one much less serious, although it could have been much worse, as he broke a ball joint on the right front. The tire came off, tucked up under the vehicle, and he just punched into the hay bales. No real harm done. He did some damage to the vehicle, as you'll see right here. Luckily, the tire getting up underneath of the chassis helped him ski into the hay bales there, and you can see it did some chassis damage. I'm sure he's got more chassis damage than he had here after climbing on that concrete wall, but what a wild, wild ride for Billy Fling. And again, just thank goodness the safety equipment holds up. Does jump the wall, but again, there is nobody over there, and there is good reason for it. It rarely happens. We rarely see these guys jump the wall like that, but you can see how quickly that can go wrong as the safety standards upheld here tonight save Billy Fling and any potential bystanders, and that is policy of both this track and the MRA. Now running side by side on the line. There you see Frantic staging alongside Greg Monsmith and Lesson Learned, and they're next to different vehicles than they were in the first session because both of them raced somebody, or excuse me, went side by side with somebody as they're just racing the clock, but went side by side with another machine that broke. Nightmare 7 will not be back on the line, and Eaton Ramen will not be back to the line. Whoa! Both vehicles getting in danger of DQing right there. We did see some cones down on Monsmith's side. He posts a 287, 245 for Renaud on the near side, but both of those guys had to do some work. I don't see any timing equipment down. I don't know if the wheelie bar caught the cones. The tires did not catch the cones, because if he had done that, he would have taken down the timing lights. He didn't. But look at both of them way over there. How do you get any closer? I don't know, maybe the tires did catch the cones, but they're calling it a legal run for Monsmith, so I'll tell you what, that's as close as you can get without going out of bounds, and you got to tip your hat to Renaud for the same reason. Both of them far to the right-hand side of the lane and managed to post times, although those are not the runs they would have preferred to put down, but they just cannot get a hold of this track here tonight. This is good dirt. This is pulling dirt. If you can rip it up and make a nice thick loam out of it, this is going to be a record track probably next year when we come back, and I guarantee you the Wackler Motorsports crew is going to see a whole different MRA in here in 2026. Now coming to the line, a guy who has had his brushes with the timing lights and the wall, knock on wood, as we've had some wild rides here tonight. Travis Shoemaker trying to move up on Kevin Harrison. This could be the most important run of the evening. Well, you hear the supercharger let go. That's unmistakable. Trying to go faster than a 225, and I don't think there's any way he did. 241 for Shoemaker, and I have to wonder, would he have gotten by him had that not just happened? Watch it one more time. and you heard it when he set the front end down. It wasn't by choice. That was the supercharger going on. You see the pop right there. He may have done more damage than just lifting the supercharger, as there's a lot of smoke coming out of the bottom side of that engine. He may have done some serious dollar damage there, but what this means is that Kevin Harrison will reclaim the Open Cut Tire Championship title here tonight in the Lions. Now, we're not going to be able to get an interview with anybody because right now everybody's headed down to the Fling pits to make sure Billy is okay. They're going to try to help him get his car off the track and load it up. We'll see the Fling brothers around here tomorrow, but that vehicle will not be back. But the Open Cut Tire Champion in 2025 will be Kevin Harrison. He reclaims it, another title for that gentleman, and that should, I believe, make it 6 titles on the open class, 3 on the cut tires and 3 on the paddles. It's been a wild night. We're not done, though. We'll be back with more tomorrow from Wagler Motorsports Park. The Super Stocks will start that coverage. We'll see you then.